We got audio. Test. Audio. Test. No audio. Audio. Test. Hello. Test. Why don't we have audio? Do we have audio? I don't know. I don't know if we have audio. Can anyone hear me? Can I hear me? Hello? Test. Let's see. Move the mic closer. Hello? Test. Test. That's pretty loud. Hello? Test. Test. Hello? Test. Test. Oh, that does work. Cool. Hello? Test. Test. Oh. Well, let's do this. Copy the link. Oh, beer show. Oh, okay. Still will beat me to it. Delete. There we go. I'm here. Sean the sheep guy. Yay. Yep. There he is. There I am. All right. Can everyone hear me? Hear me? Let's move the camera just a little bit down. There we go. Much better. Let's scoot this so you don't see my laptop. As you can see, I totally prepared for everything. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Do this. Get more than new background. There we go. Move this like here. Meh. A little bit of meh. Some meh. We're just here to watch you drink a boot. Yeah, I know. I'm getting ready. Actually, it's been a while since I've done this. I think I've only done this a few times. So if you have something here, let's go ahead and do this as a little intro. Hey guys, I'm John with HOPS and Brews, and it is, well, it's Friday night, and I'm bored, and I don't have to work tomorrow, and I kind of want to drink, and it's a Memorial Day weekend. Well, what better way to drink during this particular time of quarantine than with all of you, right? So I know it's a little bit late, but heck, no time like the present. So if you do drink, if you are drinking anything right now, let me know in the chat. Apparently, I'm betting it's just going to be civil. Or Sean, you might be there too. Great, thanks for watching. But I'm going to try drinking this boot here. And this boot, it may look small. It is not. This is roughly around 72 ounces. I will prove this to you. Be right back. Now, I tried this. I wasn't going to go and waste good beer on this attempt. Although then I started thinking, maybe I do want good beer because it's going to be a lot, and I don't really want crappy beer. But then I saw the price difference, and then I was like, yes, crappy beer. And so I basically found the cheapest 6-pack I could find at the closest little corner market store. Yeah. So what I have is a 6-pack of hams. 6-pack of 16-ounce hams. And we're gonna try drinking all of it. Rogue 6 Hawk. Be right back. Yeah, I wasn't prepared. I literally set this up, Jeff. Come on, give me a break. I set this up within like 10 minutes. All right. So let's see if we can fill this up. Look at that. Don't have to worry about head. All right, so that's 16 ounces, and we just did the heel. Yes. Yeah, the pallets in the background. I just actually happen to have some pallets at work, and they let me have them, and I just cut them up. And oh, pallets are easy to use, and they have cool textures, and I don't have to go to Home Depot or 3 different Home Depots like some other tech YouTubers who like Bud Light Orange. All right, that's 2. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, "Oh, that's almost already full." No, it's not. So what is that? We're at 16, 32. This should be 64. This is a growler. It's currently at the level of a growler, and we're not full. It's the calf. The calf is deceiving. Yes, I know, Jeff. So, okay, I do have to worry about head. But as you can see, there's still quite a lot of head left in this. So we'll have to drink it down and then fill it back up. Now let's move the can. All right. Jeff, I doubt you're going to be here all night because trust me, it's going to be a while. All right. Let's kind of get into this. Aroma. Actually, it smells very similar to a lot of those Christmas German beers. Not the good ones. So, a very foamy white head. That's gonna be. I don't want to tilt it too far. um, it smells of cheap rice and malt. Hams is just it's just a crappy lager. Paps is a pilsner. This is a crappy lager. It's a classic premium beer, born in the land of sky blue waters. Where what land has that? That can literally be anywhere. But it's a Milwaukee's best, basically. It's like it's a Milwaukee light. Oh, tastes like a Milwaukee light. Yeah, it tastes like a cheap domestic. Oh, more corny than ricey. So I'll actually give it that. I prefer more of the corn sweetness than that weird rice flavor. Jeff, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, kind of like Rainier. Actually, the funny is, this 6 pack was the same price as like a Natty Ice or another one of the like Milwaukee's Best Ice or something like that. But those are almost 6%. And I wasn't gonna go that big because I mean that doesn't sound like a lot, but a whole 6 pack, and this is super carbonated. I don't want to. Didn't want to do that. Also, uh, Natty Day was the same price, and I didn't want to vomit, so I didn't buy that. I bought this instead. Mm. So that's roughly about where the head was, we could say. So let's try finishing adding that sixth one in. I'm not saying I drank already a pint. I'm just saying that the head probably went down, and we're gonna get a lot here. It's a very pretty beer. There we go. Look at that. That's a head. Oh my god, it bounces on there like a jello top. It just jiggles. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. You can't. There's too much contrast. Let's see. Can I get some shadow? Put it back here. No. Anyways, yeah, the whole 6 pack. That's a thumbnail. All right, so hey, it's Big. Sup, brother? Big's in here. Spoon in the house. What beer is that? What's that? So this is Hams. Hams Premium, baby. Yeah. Whole 6 pack. Yeah, I wish there was I had a donation button. I need more subs. I mean, look how clear that is. You can just like there we go. That's a thumbnail. Now it's not my YouTube that's broken. It's my fans that are broken. Oh God, I'm already full. Ugh. Man, I should have like thought about this and like put some games up or something. Maybe something for me to bet on. Yeah, it's kind of awesome. Maybe I make that the thumbnail. Say, hang on. Focus. Can it focus on me? A little more. Right there. Yeah. Perfect. There we go. Mm. The last time I had this size of a boot, it took me about an hour to drink. I think I ended up watching like Pulp Fiction or something. I had a big bowl of nachos and some spicy mozzarella sticks. Oh my gosh, that was the favorite thing I served at my bar was these spicy mozzarella. It was jalapeno pepper jack cheese and buffalo seasoned um, coating. So it was nice and spicy. Oh, and it was just the perfect amount of spice too. Jeff kind of came to this because he ordered it all the time. It was delicious. I miss that. And having a deep fryer though, I don't miss the smell of the fryer. I hated that. Do it in 5 minutes. Your YouTube is broken. Okay. Where is the donation? I wish I missed that. See what's going on. Anyone? That's so. Oh my gosh! There we go. There we go. Have another drink. I don't know. We will do this. This was a dumb idea. This was a really dumb idea. I hope my battery line doesn't last as long. I need to fix that. Jeff, I need to fix that. I hope I fix it before Wednesday. I probably won't. But I hope I do. I hope a lot of things. I probably won't fix it, but I hope a lot of things. It's basically, I go and do stuff with my son or my family, and during that, probably drinking, and then I get tired, and then I'm like thinking I should do this, and then I get home, and I'm like, I'm too tired to do that. I'm gonna have a beer or a whiskey or something, and then I end up falling asleep. Usually to reruns of like Always Sunny or Top Gear. British, not American. Well, actually, the American one has points. Corned beef and Reuben. There's an English style uh, brewery not far from us, not far from Jeff, and not far from the my old bar or where the location was. They did stuff like that. They did more like traditional English style food, not but very Americanized. That type of stuff. It's expensive to have. You have to make it fresh. I mean, you sit there and think about it. If what if well no we did do Reuben. Instead of corned beef though, we did pastrami. We used pastrami. And so I did have a Reuben. It was marble rye, um pastrami, Thousand Island, pickle slice on the side, chips, and horseradish. So we did do a Reuben. I also did. I created a country fried steak sandwich, which was two slices of Texas toast, a burger patty coated and smashed into basically a country fried steak, which was ground chuck, and then we topped in the center with white country gravy. That was delicious. Yeah, well, the problem is with the corned beef is that pastrami was easier access, and I could get it, and than the Reuben, than just the corned beef. You would think, but the local store around me had pre. The other thing too was the pastrami was nice and thinly sliced and pre-sliced, and so I was able to easily make it out poundage wise. What was the other sandwich we did? I had some pretty awesome killer fry seasoning. It was Parmesan cheese, Lori's seasoned salt. You had to get the red stuff because that actually what confused people is because the seasoning that whatever dye they used made everything red. So it was Parmesan cheese, Lori seasoning salt, garlic powder, and parsley. And you mix that all together, equal parts of everything, and just basically put it in a big Tupperware thing and shake it. But then it came out orange looking, and then you sprinkle that either on tots or freshly fried tots or fries, so it's a little bit of oil would stick to it, and that Parmesan cheese, and you have to get the powdered or pre-shredded worked fantastic, and if it was the pre-shredded, kind of give that meltedness, and people thought it was delicious, and it actually really did taste wonderful. Oh yes, there was we did the sauerkraut and then it was Swiss. We did the Swiss too. What other sandwich did we do? We did another sandwich. We did three. Oh, chicken. We did a chicken sandwich with a brioche bun, lettuce, romaine lettuce, and nacho cheese, spicy nacho cheese in it. So, oh, and with peppered mayo on one side, spicy nacho cheese on the top. So you had a little the brioche or whatever with a little bit of oil and mayonnaise. Anyways, frosting. like right here, like a background right here that was brick would look really good. Wink, wink. My back, technically, Jeff, technically, your background is like my bar. So if that is anything, which this is real wood, yours is flooring material. Although mine will probably attract bugs. So I probably should spray this. And honestly, you can see that there's like it it wasn't sealed. I mean, there's it's not even. I didn't take as much care as I did with the one in my bar. But at this angle, you see it. But at the when I'm doing reviews, the camera's at a different angle. You don't see it, and the focal point is totally different when we're this close that you don't see the background. So it works out. I'm thinking about though changing the LEDs, having them come from down from above, and actually surrounding this. I'm probably going to play with that because you guys probably don't know, but there is actually a strip down below me. You can see my arm has green right there. See? So, can we cam this hops and boots? I don't know how many hops are actually in this boots, but can we name this hops and boots? Sure, why not? Hops and boots, hams and boots, hams and boots. Actually, I looked on Untapped. I have never checked in a ham. Brewed with true family tradition from pure water and choice barley malt, grain, and hops. Hmm. I did look this up. This gets like a 248, something like that. Basically standard rating for a domestic. Hey, union made. It's they're that's backwards. You can't see that, but it's union made. So if you're part of a union, go union, right? Boots and hops and boots and hops and boots and hops. I'm surprised you guys are still up this time of day. Aren't you guys like East Coasters? I know Sybil's got like his sister coming to visit him, and he's the one that kind of requested I do it live. And I was like, yeah, screw it, why not? Because my release today got ruined because apparently, and even some of my B-roll got ruined. There's a helicopter flying above me right now, pretty low because I can feel the vibration. Um, But yeah, no, my video that was supposed to come out today, a couple shots got ruined, which I thought were recording, and one of them happened to be the main whole section of what I was talking about the thing. So all I have is my intro into the B-roll, nothing in the main, and my conclusion. So yeah. But that's all edited, so I'll probably just do a reshoot, throw on the exact same shirt, and it'll probably be a less pour because it was a pretty big beverage. So, but this actually does give me a little bit more like, oh, I could talk about this, I could talk about that a little bit better. Gives me a little bit more polishing points, hit some more notes. But I will say it was a pretty looking drink. It was very pretty. I mean, the thing looked like gold, literally liquid gold. Oh, good. So then I can't read it, but you can read it. That's good. So that's probably one beer. Five more to go. I will say I probably had one beer. right? I mean, yeah, that's more than we had ahead. That's about one beer. I know it doesn't look like a lot, right? But it is a six pack. And these aren't okay. This is a six pack of 16 ounces. This isn't the bottle 12 ounces. This is 6 pints. So it's a growler and a half. Okay, now stupid story or stupid fact. When I bought these, I didn't remember the ounce count, and I was almost certain it was 64 ounces. And I bought these for my tap room. I bought four of them. One broke, and I have three left. And I did this thing on Sundays where I was instead of kill the keg, I did there was like two or three taps that were $10 for a growler. Which, if you've ever filled up a growler, you know that $10 to fill up 4 pints is a steal. That's 250 a pint. That's a steal. Now, the option I gave you was, hey, come fill up a growler, great. Or I'll you can just sit here with me and you can drink it in this boot because I thought this boot was 64 ounces. And I was stupid enough never to test that theory for a few months. And so it turns out I was losing 2 pints of profit every time someone ordered. And I had people coming in all the time to order these. I have pictures of people. Actually, if you probably go and Google Capital Tap Room, Salem, Oregon, there is probably a picture of two guys with like their faces like this with their boots because they came in all the time. One of them actually now both of them are really good friends, but one of them now is a owner of two breweries here in Oregon. Well, it's the same brewery, but two locations. And the other one is another good friend who was on the show. My friend Nate, he was actually on 2 episodes already. We did the 50 years of beer, and then we did, I think, another really big beer from the brewer. I think it was like a 16% beer. So, but anyways, I was losing two. I was losing 2 pints. So what I was selling to people on the street to go for $10, I should have been charging 15 for this. Stupid me. More stories of the tap room. That I love talking about my tap room. I really do. It is actually a super bittersweet thing for me. It was one of those things of I loved it, and now in retrospect, it was like I have to admit it was technically like, oh yes, at the time, it wasn't the greatest thing. Was it failing? Basically, it was either you lose a little bit or you break even. And so, but because then you have to, although put in that extra time and effort, like way over like 60 hours. You basically have to put 60 hours into that bar. So it's and then I wasn't paying myself on top of that. So if you take that into retrospect, then yes, it was a failure because of that. I wasn't paying myself. Now I was able to still have my job, and this was more of a purely pleasurable project or a business venture for me. And that 60 hours, I didn't mind. But then when it cut into family, that's really what it started to hurt. But the stories in there, the experiences in there, and the way it just makes you creatively spark was fantastic. Hops and boots might make more money. I don't understand, but what would hops and boots? What does that mean? Hops and boots might be like a live segment where I drink a boot every time. I will switch to my smaller boot, which is only 24 ounces. But I can do like a weekly or bi-weekly where I sit down and chat stories. I wouldn't. So what I would like to do eventually, hopefully coming maybe like June esque, is one I want to finish the set so I can. I want to get back to the new stuff. I really want to do the new stuff. I might even do one tomorrow, just to make sure it's consistent. But what I would like to do is do a bit more of these live things, and then maybe even have live guests via cams, and either if they're far away, ship them the same beer so we can talk, or if they're locally, like say Jeff or Steve or Rhett, the other hosts of Talking Heads, um, or other beer. There are plenty of local places here, or there's breweries that I could have on webcams and things like that. Just curious. So I have the ability to go talk to local breweries. Would anyone be interested? I don't know. There's only 6 people watching, but do you think brewery talking to like the head brewer or one of the owners, would you guys like to hear something like that? Or and the history behind the beer, or why they did that, or would you like to see more of like just chit chat back and forth, and the bullshitting that goes back and forth, and just two friends drunk talking or whatever and telling stories, something like that. Zoom zoom. I'm gonna hop on these boots. I'm gonna call this big boots. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be sick tomorrow. Now, beer making in general, I'm probably going to tackle more coming in June, July. I'm going to be doing. I have quite a couple new videos on beer making in general for the home brewer. I got a couple new specials. Unfortunately, with all of this thing, I was telling Jeff I had a really cool idea, and he thought it was a fantastic idea. And I for this video, unfortunately, but when I went to go and execute everything, price points skyrocket for things because of just the nature of the beast of what we're in. This whole Mexican virus stuff, Mexican beer virus stuff, and so prices for things are not at their normal rate, and so I couldn't justify stating that. Oh, it's this, and but I had to pay a 30% charge, so I can't do that video currently. But it's a really cool video. Once the prices on home brewing supplies goes back to normal, I have some really cool videos. I am planning. I still have a couple of kits right here with me. I am planning on talking about just the basic setup of what I have, the basic setup of what you need to start, and also cloning a beer, like cloning your favorite beer, how to do that. I actually have a whole book of 120 professional breweries recipes, but for the home brewer cloning, and I'd like to do a video of, hey, let's take Stone IPA, which is one of the recipes. I can clone Stone IPA and take a Stone IPA and clone it for myself and see what the difference is and how close that is, and talk about just that process. Um, See if it's any good. So those videos are on the way. Something like that is on the way, and then more beer reviews. You're probably going to see um, a bit more of the interesting domestics, like I'll talk about on Talking Heads. I gotta drink something because I just have to keep going through this, or else it's gonna take forever. Uh, uh. So if you want to hear how Brewmaster does it, now I will put you in on a trade secret. This is a tried and true trade secret. Most brewery owners are not brewmasters. They are just home brewers, and they just bought big equipment. They just bought smaller, a little bit bigger equipment, and bigger equipment, a little bit bigger equipment. That's all they did. They are not brewmasters. Technically, a brewmaster is only someone who's been brewing beer professionally for X number of years. That's really the only definition of a brewmaster. Does he have a degree? No, he doesn't have a degree in anything. Um, so you couldn't technically call him a brewmaster. Um, I mean, so hey, great notion is probably one of the great up and coming, world famous, at least okay, let's say United States famous breweries, craft breweries in Oregon. Those guys have been brewing for 5 years, 4 years professionally. They're not technically brewmasters, yet the whole craft beer community thinks they're gods. So, um, you know, uh, and a lot of times too, there's a head brewer who comes up with the recipes, and then on top of that, usually what it ends up being is that grunts just follow the recipe, and you're just a standard baker. So even the brew masters, they're just writing stuff on paper and doing small batch work, and then they just upscale that recipe and then give it to peons to go and brew. Say some Kiwis design a machine that has auto CIPs and brews process, premium experience, but a premium price for per drink. Yeah, well, okay, and even with brewing, it still comes down to temperature. It still comes down to water filtration, age. How old are your hops? How old is your yeast? There's quite a bit of number. I could brew the same thing and then go give it to someone 90 miles away, and they could brew it, and it can come out to be a different beer because it's actually there's a number of things in brewing beer, in the process part, the fermentation part, um, how long you boil, the temperature you boil it at. Technically, I mean, really, even in my system, I have a very sophisticated homebrew system, and it's still technically not super sophisticated. I wish I could even dial in the temperature even more. I wish I could dial in the boiling temperature, which then I would know the evaporation per how much is going out during the boil. So I don't have that, and maybe that's an idea to do. Jeff, if you want to do a project where we put a digital thermometer and you program your computer to help me out, call me. Uh, Hashtag not sponsored by Craft Computing. Okay, hang on. What we got? We got a couple questions more. Just how some in the tank. Hope for the best. Science. Yeah, and at the same time, civil. Hang on. Okay, I gotta keep drinking because I said I'm gonna drink this boot, and I am talking more. This is actually coming to be kind of fun. God, my stomach is like this. Buy my bits is in the house. Buy my bits isn't in the. Oh, what the fuck is it? Shit, by your choice. Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay, hang on. No, I had the choice. So I think I have a couple of starting to feel this now. I have a couple of Bud Lights, Bud Light Limes. Pretty sure I dumped all the Bud Light oranges down the drain. I got one more Bud Light lemonade. Again, I told you guys, it's not that bad. Oh, God, that felt so. Oh man, that was pressure. Oh God, yes, that was good. Anyways, Sybil, you were asking about just throwing stuff and going in. Technically, yeah, you can do that. That's going to be very wild. You're probably going to get something sour and infected, and probably closer to like prison hooch. Probably not as sugary or anything or weird flavored. So if you're kind of like semi-controlling in the boil and just like, hey, let's throw some grain and just let it ferment, that's even a style. That's just a wild ale. And personally, I actually do like those. I think they're fantastic. They're usually very low ABV, but very hard to drink. They taste a lot like people say apple cider vinegar. They have that very vinaigrette flavor, that weird tart, skunky, like a nail cleaner type thing. But if you add a little fruit to it, it's actually not too bad. It becomes more of like a fine wine in the sense you have to drink it enough to start appreciating it more. There's actually a brewery here in Oregon called The Guard, and they open ferment everything in different types of wood barrels, but they're right next to Tillamook. If you don't know what Tillamook is, it's the Tillamook Dairy Farm, and they're their neighbors, literally neighbors, on their cow farm, and so literally the cow feces in the air just goes in and hovers over their beer and ferments it. That's how it ferments, is literally cow feces. But they're known as, actually, all throughout the United States, as one of the greatest wild ale breweries. So I mean, one of their bottles usually runs, like, their cheapest bottle is like $19. So Ham's Premium, Skull's in the house. What's up, brother? Yes, Ham's Premium. But buddy, this is a 6-pack, or it was a 6-pack. We need Craft and Hops, my first beer kit. So that might be not me, but maybe in the not too distant future. We kind of hinted at that, and I have the connections to help him professionally do that, and can it, and he has shown interest in it, and we are leaning toward trying to do that. But even before this whole Mexican beer pandemic, the breweries were saying, yes, we'd love to do it, but our beer schedule is just a year out. It's just the brew schedule is a year out, because he would like to be able to actually sell it, not just, hey, here's it for Discord. No, he would actually like it to be like locally being able to be sold. And he would, so to do that, he has to follow the beer schedule of the brewery. And then I like the brewery that he's wanting to do it with. Most of them are like, I think the minimum a year ago was like 9 months out. And so, and it's still something I know Jeff wants to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that within, I don't know, the next 16 months. We'd probably see something like a craft computing beer with a local brewery that you could buy uh, regionally. So I think that's probably going to happen. If Bite My Bits wants to do a beer, I mean, I can hook them up too. But or I can brew them a beer, and we can do something just for Patreon. Or Jeff, I can do something for just Patreon too. My system is big enough to do that, but I know Jeff would like to do something a bit more bigger. Because Jeff has 100,000 subscribers. Bite My Bits doesn't. So maybe we do that for Bite My Bits' subscribers, but we don't know if they're 21 or not. They're probably mostly 16-year-old girls from Russia. Honestly, who am I freaking complaining? I only have like 600 subs. So whatever. Although my market is a bit more niche. Where the people are talking. Can you ever make a huge enterprise company? The man who runs the beer production? Oh yeah, probably. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, Ham's Premium, Ham Premium. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. Have I ever come across brews which smell like wet dishcloth? Yes, I have. I was actually just on a show recently, and it was actually Wednesday. I opened a 42-year-old lager that smelled like dish. Yeah, basically like a wet sponge that's been out for 3 weeks, and I washed my feet with it, and I drank all of it because I ain't no bitch. But yes, a lot of wild ales, farmhouse ales, they're gonna have a skunky flavor to them. A very potent flavor. There are even some IPAs I don't like, especially a hop, Idaho 7. That is a hop I have found 99% of the time, most brewers do it wrong, and it tastes literally like dirt that a dog has crapped on. And I hate that hop. I will go on record saying I hate Idaho 7 hops. I have come to the point where I will no longer buy it. If it's like Mosaic, Citra, by the way, two of my favorite hops. And if you ever have a hazy IPA, you'll know what Mosaic and Citra are, because they're 99% of that tropical fruit flavor you're probably getting. And then they put Idaho 7. I'm like, fuck that. No, I'm not getting that. This is shit. This is gonna be horrible, because I'm gonna pay $10 for this IPA, and it's gonna have Idaho 7. It's probably gonna be the main ingredient, and it's gonna suck. It tastes like potato dirt. Probably why it's Idaho. All right. Buy my bits is I like Jason. I just like giving him a crap. I've never met the guy. I've never personally met the guy. I will state that I have heard that together, if him and I were in the same room, we would just constantly egg each other on and get drunk and probably have the greatest time ever, and yet not the greatest time ever. So yeah. But he has a cool four wheeler, and if he ever wants to come over to Oregon with that, I have a personal location that's enough acreage that he could ride that on, do whatever he wants to, a couple jumps, whatever. So I mean, I pay that guy $1 a month anyways, just to like listen to get his notifications every other week about Plex. Okay, big spoon. Beer. Okay, beer. I'll buy some. I don't think I'm even halfway done. It looks halfway done. It's not halfway done. It's a third. That's a third. 600 quantity. Bite my bits. Okay, yep. I It's like California too. Sometimes hurts people feeling. Oh. So, oh god, I'm sorry. There's just when you drink this much, just it's like all sitting right here. It's not the amount of liquid I'm drinking; it's the amount of gases I'm inhaling. Is the thing. Oh gosh, it's all right here. I just won't let it out. Big spoon. I love this. Oh my gosh, it's been 47 minutes. You guys, I got one line. All right, cool. Uh, Sybil asked if I have an OnlyFans hop. Yes, I do. It is just me in hop fields, and then I do some twerking, and I do hops in the rear. There's something like that. Steve helped me out with that one. We coined that phrase right after you on Wednesday. It's patent trademark Hops and Brews / El Pollo Diablo. So, where's the guitar? I have two walls of guitar spoons. So yes, I can do that. Yes, I can play guitar. I can play drums. I can do it. I actually do have that particular person's signature guitar too. Not his signature, but the brand he uses. So yeah, you knew I would. You know what? After this or probably tomorrow, I'll shoot you some old band pics. Yeah, you'll like those. Me shirtless. That's the fans only pics. So, um, my hair was just a little bit longer back then. Oh, we're getting to the bubble. We're getting to the bubble stage. Yeah. Can you? There we go. Look at that. Pretty. All right, focus. Focus, you damn lens. Yeah, this is the wide angle lens, is why. I know. I should go bust out the old acoustic and play some like Bob Dylan. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Hey. But then, like, do it like actual rows. I should. Huh. Oh, God. Oh, hey, everyone was saying, I see it in the corner. Oh, God damn it. Again. So people keep, if you guys think this is a big one, be right back. I'm going to get my biggest glass. It's a little dirty. It's a little dirty. Okay. So, this is my biggest glass that I have. Roughly, if I remember correctly, about 7 gallons. Mm, no, I don't think it was 7 gallons. Almost maybe 3 gallons. 3 gallons. There we go. Like 3 gallons. So if you ever seen those pictures of like people, the girl doing this, mine's it is dirty. It is filthy dirty. Um, yeah, it's super dirty. Now I have drank out of that before when it was clean. I'll probably clean it again. Maybe that'll be next time's video. Instead of a instead of a boot, we do the giant 3 gallon glass. Yeah, that is a lot of red wine. Yeah. Oh gosh, so many bad memories. Although that was probably the number one. This is one of the few the props I had at. So my tap room, my bar that I had. This was one of the items that was left over. It was a failed wine bar. It only lasted 3 months because it was actually at a outlet mall for like 2 years, and then the outlet mall got a new owner and increased their lease, and then they decided to move to Salem, and then they only lasted 3 months in there. That was one of the props that they had left in the building. Oh my gosh, that place was painted like a bright blood red on the walls. It was horrible. It took me 3 months to redecorate that place. I had to actually have that signed in my lease that I needed 90 days to decorate rent free. And most of it was like painting, electrical. I had these really cool Edison bulb pipes, 6 bulb, and I hung them. And my ceiling, it was a 2 story area bar, and so I had to hang like at least 20 feet down. I had actually plane cable. My buddy got me because he worked at an airfield, and it was like cable they use to tow airplanes, like big jumbo jets. It was uh, uh, like probably about 2/3 of an inch thick. And it wouldn't even bend. It kind of we struggled with it, but we had to use that to hang these light fixtures at. I found this awesome sick ladder. It was on its last rung, literally and figuratively. Like there's a pun there because of the rung ladders. In the trash alley behind it, and I asked the landlord, "Hey, can I have that?" And they said, "Yeah." And I turned that into this awesome, cool lantern where I strung light wire all the way through each rung and had lights, hanging different things. And one of the cool things that I don't think we ever mentioned this. Uh, okay, in in Oregon, a liquor license, there are two types of liquor licenses in Oregon, and I'll mention civil. You asked that question, so I'll answer that, and then I'll get back to my story. There are two types of liquor. There is a low level liquor license and a high level liquor license, and both are technically pretty easy to get, as long as you don't have any prior felons, anything like that, to might raise an eyebrow. It's pretty easy. It's more of a waiting game. The community around also has to give you a 30-day period of like, hey, we object to this person having a liquor license. But in Oregon, you can own a bar and not serve food, um, as long as you don't serve anything above 20% ABV, alcohol by volume. So 19.99% and down, which I stretched the shit out of that limit. I served 19.95% alcohol at my tap room. And then once you go above that, it's just about as easy. But the only other requirement is you have to have X amount of food on site. And that's really all it is. That's how it is in Oregon. I don't know how it is in every other state, but it's pretty simple. It's a little about it was a $98 fee for that license. I think it's 123 for the upper one. So and then you renew it every 2 years. So nothing too bad. And they inspect you every 6 months for compliance. Just saying, hey, you can't have soap detergent next to your alcohol, or meat above your vegetables, blah blah blah. So we always got an A+ score rating in our advisory. So so the curtains. Here is big spoon. What did I do with the balloon string? It's still here. It's on the floor. I might do something with it. There it is. The curtains are nice. So maybe I'll just like put them in the corner, just a solid thought thing with a thick ribbon, or maybe corner off because I have a 65-inch 70-inch TV right here. So maybe I'll use that as a block off, just for referencing in case I go over some pan shots because now I got a nice panner Jeff gave me. That's the best part of having a good friend who's up and coming rising YouTube star is all of his old crap he gives to me. All right, drink more. Okay, another interesting story. If you've ever watched um, Broken Lizard's Beer Fest, they talk about the bubble in the boot, and it is animated. It is that animation doesn't age very well, but the concept of it is real. As you can see right there. Now, if you do tilt it to the side, it doesn't happen. So that actually is a interesting fact. So if you do have a boot, and this does happen to even smaller boots, do not drink the boot like this, heel, face, or toe above. Turn it to the side always. It only works if it's like the very tip top because there's not enough airflow. All right, I will say that that's half. You want to say that's half? I think that's half. I'm gonna go with half. So that's 3 pints. 3 pints down, 3 pints to go. We're at 58 minutes. My battery's at 31. Oh god, that's so good. That's like taking a shit. It's past prime time, so I can say this stuff. All right. Anyways, clean the tip. About your total square footage terms requiring food and liquor license. So that's interesting. So as far as my square footage for the bar and food, we weren't required to do that. It was actually just limited to the square footage was saying, hey, you can only have X. It was just basically seating. Funny thing too, another interesting story of how loose Oregon is on that type of stuff. So I was open for personally owner. I shouldn't say open, but the owner for 2 3/4 of a year, and the fire marshal was always supposed to come in and give us a hey, you're only allowed X number of people in this area. Never did that. The fire marshal's office block and a half away from us. Never did. And so we threw large events, and then when I had to get permits, and then they would ask me, "Hey, what's your seating capacity?" I would just bullshit the number, be like, "Oh, it's at the 200." Yeah, 200. Honestly, it was more like 75. I mean, it was the again. It was okay. I shouldn't say I don't have a bar, but it's so much easier to say a bar than tap room. 99% of people, not 90, maybe 75% of people don't know what a tap room is. So I just say bar. I didn't own a bar. I owned a tap room. I wasn't able to sell liquor. I could sell beer. I could sell basically anything 19.999% ABV and down. And so um yeah. But when you say bar, everyone thinks, oh, you owned a bar and you had shots and do this and do that. No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I didn't have that. But it's easier to say that now. At the same time, technically, yes, I was very free flowing and did some pretty creative stuff. And Jeff has plenty of stories of where he stole my alcohol. And there was probably a couple of bottles in the back that staff might have drank during work hours. My trick, my favorite thing was so we got these. So we did sell sparkling water, flavored water, for and sodas for non-alcoholic people or DUI drivers, or in case people did come in with minors. We technically did allow minors. We had enough food to require. I just didn't like advertise. But so we had these 12-ounce soda cans. Oh God, these things are a fucking lifesaver. It's so awesome. The can fits in here. I have a video of this. It fits like this. It's too big. Oh, hang on. I'll show you. I got a soda can. God, I gotta throw up. There we go. I got some 12-ounce beer cans. I should have said. All right. So, anyways, what do you do? Pop it in here like this. Boom. Holds the beer. Pretty sick. It actually looks pretty stupid. It makes you drink your beer so much damn faster. And again, like I said earlier in the episode, most of the time at night, I fall asleep to like Sunny in Philadelphia or like Top Gear or some super show. Um, at my bar, we didn't really play sports unless there was like a major game, like a big Blazer game or some NFL game. We'd play that, but majority of the time we played basically weird crap that I like to watch. Well, we're talking Star Trek, Futurama, Family Guy, South Park, Chappelle Show, stuff like that, and that drew people in. And like I said, Sunny in Philadelphia. Have you ever seen the canned wine episode? 99% of the time, if you ever saw an employee with a can, it was like 90% liquor and like 10% like, oh yeah, this is something else. And we're just, oh yeah, yeah, well we can't drink in the job. Bro, the whole if you, yeah, right. If you can't drink during work hours, what's the point? And at the same time too. So every time there was a keg change, you had to bleed the keg out. So there's always that little. Oh, so what we did too is I was kind of a I was a little bit ingenious about this, and I was really good at selling this. If you talk to Jeff, or Steve or Rhett, they were all there for this. I'm a really good salesman in the beer part. I couldn't do a used car or anything like that, but the honest to God truth is like I could still sell you a really good beer. And I gambled stating that my system, we told you the live level, or essentially what it was a guesstimate. Now my POS, which is the point of sale system, would say, hey, you bought a pint, 16 ounces. So it would subtract 16 ounces from whatever I told the keg system, the POS system was the type of keg. So, a 5-gallon keg, it would minus 16 ounces from that. So I sold a growler, 64 ounces. And so it said, hey, okay, you have X amount of ounces, and it would start lowering it. Well, when it got to the red, its definition of red was about 90 ounces difference. And so what I would tell people is, hey, you see that? That's in red. If you buy a pint of it and you blow it, even at the very tippy top, I'll give it to you for free. But if it doesn't blow, you have to buy it. So many people I have sold on that sale of just the gamble of things. But because of that too, my lines were about 11 feet long, and so even when you spurt it out, you probably got about a half pint of spurting back, and then you have to what's called bleed the line, and bleeding the line is you tap a fresh keg. You gotta get that little bit of foam out. You gotta kind of bleed the line of the previous beer that's in there, so you're not contaminating the next fresh pint. Most dive bars don't do that because they have the same rotating beers. And so, but for me, I had 32 rotating taps, and they were all interesting, weird crap. And so I had to bleed the line a lot. And so we would take these boots, and we would fill probably about this much, and we would just put it in the back. And then we had a bunch of like pints, and we just pour it for the staff. And we usually had about two bartenders and myself, so three staff, usually throughout the week, and we would just have like 2 pints of Pete's sitting in the back. We're drinking it. So a couple friends walk back there and they're like, "Oh, we know what you're doing." I'm like, yeah, who cares? And honestly, all of the bar industry does this. They really do. You learn to operate drunk. Uh, yeah. So yeah, and a lot of places do the whole like, "Hey, you blow this, or you half get it." You get it for half off. I've gotten a lot of growler fills where they'll half fill it, and they'll say, "Hey, we blew it. We'll give these to you for either like the price of a pint. Sit down and have it, and you'll get 2 pints for the price of one, or a super discount, and fill something else up. And we'll wash your growler out while you're drinking." That's been stuff I've seen before. So, if you nitrogen flush your lines, you can extend the life of your canned product. Now, as far as nitrogen flushing your lines, that's interesting, um, because for one, you have to buy the nitrogen gas, which nitrogen is actually a lot more expensive than CO2. Now, CO2 does fluctuate in price because of just the way CO2 is produced. Hang on, I have to drink more. Now, the other option you can do is that if you regularly clean your lines, you should be fine. And really, honestly, it all comes down to how often you're turning your product. Beer technically has a shelf life. Now, I was also known for being a rebel in that as well, of aging beers that shouldn't have been aged. Yeah, a past shelf life. A good example is Stone's Enjoy By. Stone Enjoy By is saying, hey, you have, I think it's like 32 days. They went from the date of release. God damn it, so much gas. God, this is gonna be hard. I'd rather talk than drink that crap. Um. Anyways, so but what it is, it's not that the beer goes bad. It's for optimal flavor, and it's optimal flavor of what the head brewer deemed was optimal flavor. Now, so I did this in a couple of events at my tap room to where I had beers that I bought, and I tapped them really quick, and I was like, "This tastes okay, but it's not going to sell very well." And I got it for pretty cheap, uh, and that's the best part. Beer is super cheap comparison to what you pay for it. I will tell you that it's 45% to 75% markup. It's it's expensive. Um, so Actually, cans are pretty decently priced compared to tap rooms. So cans are only up like 25%. So honestly, if you could find it in a can, um, it's going to be cheaper than on draft. But a lot more experimental stuff is put on draft than can. So that's why you buy that. You're paying the premium charge. But just never buy that. That's why you always buy the weird stuff on draft. Don't buy the stuff that you can get on can. You're overpaying. You're basically paying double. It's stupid. But anyway, what was I talking about? Paying. Aging. So aging. So aging particularly bursts as long as the line's clean. So you, as long as you're constantly cleaning your lines, and then you have fresh CO2 pumping into it, and no leakage, you should be fine. But aging a beer that shouldn't be aged, you will find that the good rule of thumb is that if it's an like say an IPA or fresh hop IPA, which was I was known for aging of quite a few of, you'll find that the bitterness, the IBUs shrink, which is the international bittering units, which a lot of people take. When you go to tap room, novices will look at it says IBUs, and I'm thinking about doing a video of this of why IBUs no longer matter. The term of beer and why they still matter. Um, is that people think, oh, high IBUs means it's super bitter, and that old school I forget who did it, but the bitter beer face. I forget who did that. Miller or Coors, something like that. Um, and that's no longer true because of all the innovations in hops. Like I said, Citra, Mosaic earlier on, even Idaho 7. Hopping profiles have changed so much to where IPAs back in early 90s to early 2000s are no longer restricted to like three different hops, Cascade and Columbus and Magnum. Just tasted like a little bit of dirt and pine, the bitter beer. Now we're getting pineapple, we're getting orange, we're getting guava, we're getting sweet flavors out of these beers, out of these hops. And but the problem is they still have a decent alpha acid. And the alpha acid is what gives the IBUs. You can have 100 IBU double IPA and it tastes nothing like a 6% 60 IBUs that was brewed with X hop because it had a super bittering hop. But the alpha acids were low, but those acids were just super bittering. So there almost needs to be a third category, maybe coming out soon. Probably will never, but that emphasizes maybe not in level of bitterness because it's not IBUs as international bittering units, but maybe oils. I don't know, but like that's what I was saying. I don't quite know how to make this video, but I think it's really true because I had to explain this for 2.5 years to people. Look, it says 100 IBUs, and I know it says 100 IBUs, but trust me, it's sweet because there's also the malt aspect of it. How much malt is in there? Now, the IBU is only measuring the bittering units. It doesn't measure how much malt is in it and how much you taste. And on top of that, the human profile, the human tongue can only taste up to, I think it's 122 international bittering units. So, because I've served like 172 because that was their claim to fame, and there was a lot. I got a lot of people saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! I won't drink that." No, no, no. Try it because it's a triple IPA. It's basically syrup. So, anyways, I'm sure there's some. My luck, it would slip. All right, so let's what do we got? Big spoon. I'm not. I used to be a fan of Jack when I was 21. So there's a place for it. I think there's a tradition for it. Yeah, and you know what? I think I will state the best whiskey and Coke I've usually have, and I shouldn't say the best, but the most nostalgic is Jack and Coke. That is the most nostalgic Jack and Coke, whiskey and Coke I could ever have is Jack and Coke. I will hand that down, hands down. That was gonna blow in my face, I know. All right, you're noticing that, yeah, I am. Manages it was better. Bartender finished in 2.5 drinks. Yeah, and you know, from my manager was a guy named Chuck. He was awesome. Um, Again, Jeff can contend to this. Very similar sense of humor, but was almost like everything I was missing and that he missed, I filled in. We filled in each other. And so for the two of us could have run that bar. And if we had a full liquor license bar, we would have probably been killing it. Because just the two of us, we had people coming in just for the two of us, and all the other bartenders that I had, or bar backs, I should say, no one came in for them. And honestly, we were the only two males there. Let me put it that way. Everyone else I hired was like, okay, you have to hit this criteria, and they all did. And not too many people care. They actually more cared about the conversation. As much as people think that is a thing, patrons more care about in-depth conversation and just meaning. Like, so my buddy Chuck, he knew way more about guns, ammo, um, blowing stuff up, possibly illegal substances at the time that were illegal. They're not illegal now. Things like that. To where I knew more about pop culture, the beer aspect of things, and then at the same time, we both had very similar musical interests. And that was the other thing too. We played some awesome music at the tap room. When we would play interesting things, we would bring people, and they were like, "I want to know that band." You don't know that, like Clutch. We'd play that constantly, and people are like, "Who is this band?" And we would just play like obscure stuff, and even metal, or I would say we play everything but country, and it was fantastic. I did a lot of too. Like my nights were closing. I did a lot of mashups, and everyone loved that. I got plenty of people drunk, and then when you have a mashup of like AC/DC and the Bee Gees playing in the background, drunk people go wild for that. And because we were the only bar, I even have, I'm pretty sure I still have it on my phone, a video of a barman. They still in the bar now, and there's still a bar manager there now. But she came in and she wanted to sing karaoke, and she just wanted to just basically do whatever. And I have a video of her singing karaoke in my place. But just because I had karaoke on my laptop, and I was like, HDMI, screw it, let's do it. So we were that accommodating, and people like that. We accommodated to even the little. We paid attention to even the smallest of customers. So that was fun. Unless I excuse, I am dropping my Magnum hops, banana flavors. So Governor P, banana flavor. So banana flavor should. Oh, hang on, I gotta drink some more. Um, Pardon me a sec as I go. I'm gonna go change the battery out of my camera before it dies. That's 7%. Yes, my camera is dying because every time I plug it into power supply, it switches over to that and won't let me stream. So I'll be right back. Do, 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 do. All right, I'm back. All right, so I'm probably gonna cut out right here. I really, really hope the stream doesn't end because Big Spoon, Civil, everyone's talking. Or at least the 6 people that are watching. Oh shit! Stupid tripod, like locking mechanism right where the battery's at. Okay, so again, I'm gonna have to turn my camera off. I hope the stream continues. If not, I apologize. Um, I hope I don't lose the 6 of you. Here it goes. Are we back? Are we still good? So that is 4 pints down, 2 pints to go. Sexy, sexy. I know. I got a little nip slip going. What's going on? All right. When I was a bartender, my bar manager said that I was better bartender after I finished 2 or 3 drinks. Honestly, Skull, that's not that's actually probably pretty true. Honestly, I have found people performing better, a little bit looser, a little bit easier. It really is. I mean, I wouldn't say to drink during like complicated cocktails. If you're at a dive bar or tap room, something easy like that. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. It kind of almost like just opens you up to conversation. I think bartenders in general, and I know I'm probably super behind on the comments, but bartenders in general, I think are for like dive bars and everything like that, not super packed places, are better not drinking. Now, I will state that there have been plenty of times where my place was slammed, and I'm talking running out of glassware slammed, and I bought about $1,200 in glassware, and we were out, and way over, probably like double capacity of what we should have been. And yes, I did not drink during that time. No coworker or anything was drinking at that time. We were on our game, and that is the time to be that way. And if that's the type of bar you're at, yeah, never drink, never ever drink. But if you're at a dive bar that's slow, that constantly just rotates the same like 30 people type of thing. If I was your owner or manager and I saw you have like a shot or two, I wouldn't report you. Now, if you're blatantly drunk, yes, I will report you. But um, it's the type of person you are. So, all right. Yeah. So, beer. Amazing how varied beer can be. And actually, I've always stated that wine snobs have nothing on beer snobs because for every wine snob that's out there, there's 70 beer snobs. Because if you think about it, wine is aged in a barrel, right? And then how many variants of beer is that? Are there out there? And styles. And then think about barrel aging. So then you could take that beer that is way more styles of wine than there are beer, or way more beer styles than there are of wine. Then you can take that beer and age it in that wine barrel. And now you have a more complex version of that beer. To whereas wine, you're not really seeing a double barrel aged wine. You're seeing, type of a thing. Big spoon on the Discord. I should have that loaded, but I'm not gonna. So, but I have it on my phone. Go home, Spoon. You're drunk. Spoon. Oh my gosh, you're drunk. um. So, but yeah, there are, I think, more technical variances of beer But what most people do are just IPAs. That's the thing. I hate that. I hate that about the the craft beer industry slash community is that they just jump on this bandwagon and just ride it to death. And we are stuck on a 4 year, 3 year of hazy IPAs. And I'm waiting for the crash. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But um, I, I I'm not enjoying it as much as I used to, and I think a lot of people are. And I don't give it much longer. 3 years tops, 2 years, hoping. Um, but traditional IPA, clear. Some IPAs used to look like this. That's the thing. I knew double IPAs that I could see through. That I could do this too, and you could see my face there, and it was a 10% IPA that tasted damn good. That looked like this, and nowadays it's eh, unfiltered this and unfiltered that and the extra hop this. Look, I don't mind all of that, but I still think that this, if you can, you have. I have always preached this. You have to make a beer like this, clear, consistent IPA. Your pales, every single one of your flagship beers should look as clear as this. If it doesn't, you're a sham. You don't know how to brew. Once it does, then you can experiment. Once you know how to guarantee that your beer looks this clear every time, I will then let you go into the hazy, cloudy, unfiltered category. If you can't do that, don't get into professional brewing. That's my philosophy. Take that with a grain of salt. There are some still fantastic places out there, but I still think that basic characteristic of learning the basics. And if you don't learn the basics first, you're not going to be a super successful brewery in the long term. You might have something good for 5, 6 years, maybe 10 years at the most, but the long haul, the 40, 30 years, the stone 25, 30 years, you're not going to be around. I'm sorry, you're just not. So, let's get a little spillage, so I had to stop. Oh, I think we're at a pint and a half. Pint and a half. So when I poured it, I was just below the boot. I think we're at a pint and a half, people. Pint and a half. All right. Is hazy the new IPA? Yeah, hazies are the new IPA. Is that you know, Big Spoon? I don't know. It's I don't know. There's no ankle profile. Technically, actually, there kind of is possibly a warp in the glass. So I would say this is the left foot. This would be the left boot. Now, what was funny, the other way I got people to upsell this was that I always told the guys, like, hey, your wife is always shopping for shoes. You can shop for a boot. I would say that worked maybe 4 out of 10 times. But a 40% on a, well, what was I thought a $10 upsell. But, anyways, heck, that's great. And throwing that line out there, it works. And, I will say that you have to flirt with people. So okay, so there's a story. And actually, I became pretty good friends with these guys too. But there was a story where when I first opened up, it was probably within the first 2 or 3 months I opened up, and this gay couple came in, and really nice people, and they came in as a group. It was like 4 or 5 people, and they were blatantly they were mm, out there. So I was like, what? I kind of winked over to my manager, like, watch this, and I basically started flirting with one of them. Yeah, and it worked. I got them. I think I got them to buy two of my custom growlers because they didn't have any growlers with them. So we upsold them on the growlers. Two growler fills on top of that, and then on top of the flirting, probably two or three more pint sales while they were there. And then on top of that, as far as I was there, lifelong customers. And they were actually ended up being really cool people. And they actually became lifelong customers to some of my other Patreons there that started their own business because they, god damn, so much fucking gas. Um, because they met each other there and they started their own businesses, vice versa contact. God, so much gas. This is the only downside to drinking this thing. So much gas. Brew clear beer or hops won't let you. Yeah. No, honestly, it's think okay, honestly, really think about it. Think about okay, civil, big spoon. I'm assuming you guys are probably old enough to remember when beer was clear or beverages were clear. Heck, let's just say early 2000. Let's just say early 2000. Do you remember any alcoholic beverage being hazy other than that didn't have like pineapple juice or mango juice or some kind of fruit juice in it? Everything was crystal clear. Now beer is, if it's not hazy, it's not good. And then if it says hazy or unfiltered and I can still see through the glass, it's no good because it's not stating what the product actually is. It's bullcrap. Unfiltered, hazy, these all technically mean different things. I don't want to get into the whole like that. That was it. I debate getting into that side of on my channel. Um, the best part is no one's going to be watching at an hour and 32 minutes of this, so I can start 20 years ago. Yeah, basically 20 years ago, early 2000s. I think unfiltered, hazy looking beers. Oh 09. Oh 09 was probably around technically a little bit later. Alchemist. Was that Chicago, Illinois area? Alchemist, Heady Topper came out, and they were like the grandfather of hazy beer. They were doing it for like I think 11 years now, and they advertised on their can, "You have to drink this fresh. You have to pour this fresh, and pour it out of the can. And if it's hazy, don't worry. There's active yeast in it." They stated that in the can. They stated still now. Um, and people thought that was the world's most amazing beer. Homebrewers, I hosted a homebrewers meeting every other week at my tap room for 2.5 years. Actually, past that because they kept going, but that brewery was named multiple times of a reference of like they did this and they did this, and I kind of just rolled my eyes because they're bullshit. But they're the granddaddy. We had them on Talking Heads. I've had them before. In comparative status, they're nothing. It's a decent IPA. It's great. It's nice. There are plenty of other beers out there now that a local brewery do so much better because of well, again, I said earlier on, probably I think the 45-minute mark, hops. The hops available during their time are different 11 years ago than there are now. 11 years ago, there weren't as many tropical fruit flavored hops that there are now. And so they had to use the piney, citrusy, slightly citrusy kind to make that really good IPA. And they're still using that exact same recipe now. Now, is it good to have the grandfather of all hazies? Yes, it's good to know where you started from. Is it the greatest in the world now? No, no, it's not. But it's still. I mean, you take a Chevy, Corvette. I want a '68 Chevy Corvette with the wings in the back, the one the astronaut uses. I want that, but it only tops out at 130 miles an hour. Hell, the modern Hellcat does more than that. It's got like what 1,000 plus horsepower in it. So, but I'd rather have that Corvette. It's the OG. I owned a '69 Mustang. I'd rather own that, and that only went 129 miles an hour. So, but still, OGs is cool. But that's where I said, like, you need to know how to do that OG, the original, and you need to also, as a beer reviewer, as a beer drinker, as a beer aficionado, if you want to claim yourself as that, you need to know that stuff, and you need to appreciate those type of things. Same with the shitty hams. This is still beer, technically, and it still outsells a lot of craft beer. Why? You need to appreciate it. You need to understand it. You need to try it. God damn, this is horrible. Honestly, it's not that. It's not horrible. It's actually not that bad. It's really not that bad. Um, I'm glad I have this over Bud Light. I really am. It's way better than Bud Light. Um, and yeah, so man, God, I tell you what, though, guys, I'm feeling it right here, feeling it right here. Who do we still got left? Who's still alive? Your hot mullet. Oh God, another free glass with every 6 inches. Yeah, God, I'm so. Ah, God, I'm like trying to stay awake here. 20 years ago, the Budweiser. What Budweiser? So technically, regular Budweiser is actually more of a caramel color. Um, uh, Bud Light is actually probably a good shade and a half lighter. It's a very gold color. My father-in-law is a Budweiser drinker. Budweiser, not Bud Light, but Budweiser drinker. Steve will come over. He'll work it. So my in-laws live at my farm, and so I have a 15-acre farm. So they take care of it. And if I go there and I'm out of beer, they're like, "Hey, have a beer." Beer is beer. They don't drink hard liquor, so I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we got. That's what you got." So I'm not going to refuse. Well, it's free beer. Steve, all the talking heads, even Jeff have been there, had a beer. Honestly, it's yeah, okay, it's not great. You're like, yeah, it's free. So I'll take what I can. And if you worked a day on a farm or mowed a lawn for 3 hours uh, in 90-degree weather, yeah, or trenched through blackberries forever, or pruned trees for 3 hours, or burnt a bonfire and you're just sitting there sweating, yeah, you'll take a Budweiser. Trust me, and you'll enjoy it because because it's the only beer there, and you're like, dear God, I need something to drink. You'll enjoy it then, sure, and you start to taste nuances that they're talking about. Are they good nuances? Do you like them in comparison? No, I don't. But I do taste the nuances, and I can see why people could possibly like it. I think it's cheap. I think it tastes cheap. You know, it tastes like cheap liquor. It tastes. You do. Jeff and I both agree on this. There's this heavy rice sugar flavor that is in Budweiser, and you just taste it, and there's a very distinct flavor. They made commercials about it. I do prefer more if on the domestic side, corn. I do prefer corn. Oh God, so all right, hang on. Let's do one more, and I think we'll be down to one pint. Oh, we're way below one pint. We're way below one pint. We're at the bottom end. We're a half pint, people. So this stream will probably end soon. Dear God, what did I do? What the What is going on? Mustang, Mustang. Okay, honestly, the Mustang is the poor man's classic car. Honestly, a Chevelle is better than a Mustang, and I don't. The Chevelle is the poor man's hot rod. And God, I know. I will say a 70. I'll give you a 71 Mach 1 Mustang. I like those. There's a bit too much body on it via engine. Now, if you swap out the engine, but there's, I mean, what is that? Like a 6 inch gap between the engine and the headlights of just air gap between the crunch. But I do like the Mach 1 1970 71 body. I do. There's just something about it. 69, yeah, it's just a classic. You see it everywhere. But a 68, 69 Camaro body. SS, I had a it was a RS with the Rally Sport with the headlights, but someone swapped it out. Only the headlights to be an RS or no, an SS. I had an RS, which had the cool swipe front end, and they took those out. But everything else was still stock. I still had the slant six. I still had the posi track. I had everything still stock. Oh God, it was so much fun. I only had it for about a year. I only got to drive it for a few times because I had it like end of summer. Um, and I'm talking like September 30th, October 1st type of thing. So I drove it like two times then, and it had some battery alternator issues, so I had to jump it a few times. And oh god, that thing would just like peel out every corner. I went through the tires that I had on that so easily, and and then I had to park it, and I did the slow charge, and then I think I only drove it like twice, and then I sold it like in May the next year because I needed ACL surgery on my knee. So yeah, but I kind of regret because I got that thing for like 3 grand and it was stock numbers, and I sold it for a profit. But I look at that and I look at like, oh, what it would be worth nowadays. Now, I will say there was a lot of Bondo on the back end. There was some rust on the back end. It wasn't the greatest Bondo job ever. It looked straight from 10 feet away, but once you got into the detail work, it wasn't fantastic. I mean, the Bondo was like that thick. But it's nothing that like 7K couldn't fix. And then I would have had 35, 40K car hot rod. God. And then I look now and I'm like, I want to buy a car so bad because I can afford one, but we're trying to buy a house, or we're trying to build a house, I should say. So, yeah. All right, what do we got? I'm doing enough stories about myself. Beer is the big spoon. Beer is the man's dessert. General Nutriment. All right, yeah. Civil. Oh yeah, never mind. Um, 2.5% beer. Okay, I've never heard of a good 2.5% beer. But at the same time, I will say there have been some pretty low beers that I've enjoyed around the 3.5, 3.9%, but they were mostly sours or shandies. I would actually have to say most of them are shandies. Um, yeah, probably shandies, which technically, if you think about the definition of a cocktail of a liquor and another substance within it, it actually shandy's more defined of cocktail. I wonder what is the definition of cocktail? Is it 3 ingredients or is it 2 ingredients? Or is it just a distilled liquor with something else? So then yeah. Anyways, that's an interesting thing to go into. But yeah, 2.5%. That's I've never had a good 2.5% beer. Oh yeah, screw that 100. Yeah, that whole 100 calories. So for a whole month, if you don't know, I did a whole for 32 days technically. Um, every beer I drank for 32 days was under 100 calories or under. It could not hit above 100 calories. And there are plenty of light beers that stated they were light beers, but they were like 102, 120, 110. Couldn't have 'em. I specifically stated 100 or less. Yeah, basically. Well, that's not true. I did up my workout ratio. Now, the one thing I do regret in my main video that I posted was, so prior to that month or the 60 days prior to that, I usually do a workout 20 minutes a day. So the workout routine that you saw in there, that is usually my regular routine. Um, honestly, I think most people or our age or middle aged, actually, we're not middle aged, we're the we're not young, but we're not old. Do something active, 15, 20 minutes of cardio. Do something. Even 3, 4 days a week. Do that. Do your steps, especially if we're in the tech community. I'm sitting at my chair 9 hours a day. I need to do 20 minutes of cardio just to maintain something of metabolism. So but so when I did that, it was just kind of more of me just restarting that because I was off for 3 months. And so, but that workout routine of something like that, of like 20 minutes a day, is a norm for me. But then on top of that, I went with a very mm, honestly, the diet was actually pretty good. I'm eating steak. I'm eating decent rice. I put a little slab of butter in there too, and I didn't sit there and skimp on anything. When I was just like, look, I usually drink water throughout the day. I don't like soda. So, there I'm drinking water anyways before that. So my meals were like steak, chicken and rice, but the chicken like either had like possibly some kind of not breading, but I went to the local grocery store deli and just like ripped the chicken apart, but still had rice. And hey, there we go. It's fine. It was still a very high protein, high carb diet, but I only had 100 calorie or less beers for 32 days. I ended up losing 11 pounds, which is great because I was honestly probably drinking way too much. And the 3 months of not being active and then drinking that heavily, well, that showed. That was, yeah. And honestly, my body still shows that I drink way too much and not sleep enough. Oh, hang on. Let me drink some more because I think I only got two more in here. Oh, yeah. I got one more left. One more left, and then we'll be done. Let's call this. Let's call this a 55-minute stream. Well, maybe we'll do. All right. What do we got? What do we got? So we only got like. Hey, how do we? All right. I love every 8 people that are watching currently right now. But we only have 3 people talking, and I love the 3 people because they're awesome and they're asking great stuff. I apologize because I'm burping right now. There it is. Oh God. As you can see, the bags under my. It's so funny. I've had these bags since I'm like 18. In high school, I had these bags. Oh well, it's probably because I. Never mind. I won't tell you that story. We need a craft to be able to. Well, the thing is a civil, so a craft and bite my bits meetup that already happened in Vegas. I wasn't there. Steve was there. What we need to do is a craft hops and brews and bite my bits meetup. And then what we need to do is shots and beer. And then what we need to do is every one of those afterwards of equal amounts of everything has to go shoot a video afterwards featuring every one of us. That's a challenge. Now, I'm not a big YouTube star like the two of them are, but whatever. But my personality is awesome. Anyway, that's what girls say, right? Personality. We will the first ever LTX. Yeah, we were so big spoon. We were honestly Jeff and I. I even planned it with my wife. It was going to be a surprise on the channel. We were trying to keep this a secret. LTX really sucked. Um, I was gonna go. Jeff was gonna go. Buy Me Best was gonna be a host. It was we had stuff planned. Let me just say that we had stuff planned. We had stuff planned. We were gonna do some. Buy My Biz didn't know we were gonna do it, but we had stuff planned for his speaking thing and everything. It basically, yeah, because of this all got ruined and whatever. It was gonna be epic. It was gonna be fun. It was gonna be like ultimate troll crap. It was gonna be fun. What do we got? A T4 has a great taste where it could be knocked back a dozen and still enjoy the taste on a hot day and taste good. Most low calorie light beers, longest taste watery and general not flavored enough. So, you're asking, most 2.5% beers taste, nice and watery or taste decent. Well, okay, so that was kind of the point though of my whole video and the 32-day experience was there are quite a few breweries now that they're talking about having these low calorie beers but still maintaining the flavor of higher calorie beers and IPAs, especially with the hops and juiciness and the body. I think the body on top of that is everything. Like you're saying, like you stated in your comment, it tastes watery. That's the body aspect. That's the mineral aspect. That's everything what they're doing to the treatment of the water. Also the beer style. The lagers, pilsners usually have a more watery taste to them. But if you notice in Europe, they don't. Why is that? Well, there's more minerals, less filtration in their water compared to ours. At the same time, we are filtering, crafting different things. Do we care? Yes and no. I am noticing certain craft breweries, like I did a video of the highest, or is the fourth highest rated German Pilsner, which is a brewery local to the United States. It had a very good body to it. There are local breweries around here, which is actually funny because I got comments on this on my social media page of like, sorry, girlfriend, stating, why did you review this beer? Why didn't you review that? This brewery like next to us is a English style brewery. Why didn't you try their pilsner? Well, I tried their pilsner before. It's okay, but their water treatment sucks on that beer. It's just the water treatment. That's not hard water. It's not mineral based. They're just taking out the chemicals that our particular local government puts into their water supply, and that's all they're doing for their filtration. They're not trying to balance the mineral content for a region that's in Germany or Europe or wherever to match that to say, hey, here you go, you're getting the same mineral content in their water. Because also at the same time, that ups the price because you have to buy chemicals. And so when you get local places that are brewing with spring water or local water, unfiltered water, different regions will do that, and you'll just get honestly I personally think, better beer. The more mineral aspect of the beer, you're going to get a heavier, thicker body, which brings out more of a maltier flavor. And if you add enough hops, or actually, if for beers that have less hops, bring out more flavor. Now, if you do that to an IPA, yeah, it's going to be sweeter. But at the same time, right now, that's the market you're trying to get to. Think about the cost effectiveness. What is I guess it'd be interesting lactose or yeast sediment. I wonder what a hazy would be versus a hazy English or German IPA because the German water filtration filtration God, I don't know that word filtering process um versus American is probably a lot stricter than Germany and but we have better hops. So if we gave them those hops, I wonder what the process would be. Anyways, let's finish this beer. Let's finish this boot. It's 1:56. I want to finish this before 2 hours. That's it. I did it. A boot, a 6-pack before 2 hours. Dear God, that was so stupid. I mean, one time it's a fucking. I get no time to relax, and this is stupid. Why did I do this? Anyways, I get up to pee. I got to pee too simple. I really got to pee. I want to pee in this boot. I'm not going to drink it. No, don't get any ideas. Yeah. By the way, so yeah, I am a co-host on a Craft Computing's Talking Kids Live. If you have watched this far, take a look at that show. It's fun. It's fantastic. We do a lot of cool stuff. If you are into tech computer stuff, check out Jeff at Craft Computing. A once weekly live show on Talking Heads. I will be every other week a co-host. And on top of that, they do whether I'm there or not, 20 minutes of beer news, which I help organize. Um, heck, even last week they did an hour and 9 minutes of beer news. So check that out if you like the beer news aspect. God, I think. Whew, I've never mentioned this, but I actually think I am allergic to alcohol. There is an actual study of allergy versus alcohol. I will take a single shot and I will wake up the next day like I've had bad allergies. Not hungover, just bad allergies. So I think I'm actually, and there's an actual allergy for alcohol. I don't. All right, Sybil, you're out. You're out. Prison just used toilet water. Yep. I think everyone's out. I think we're good to go. I finished the boot. I think everyone's good to go. So let's call it a night. I'm gonna go watch some, honestly, probably some Top Gear and either some Doritos or Cheetos or some form of chip that I need to sober up. And so I enjoyed this. This was actually a bit more fun than I thought it was going to be. I'm feeling every bit of these 6-pack of hams. So I'm going to see you guys later, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh man, I'm tired. Bye. And you damn YouTube.